Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Samuel, and it is my pleasure to welcome everyone to our Facebook Live engagement session on MICPA CAANZ program. This prestigious program is offered in Sunway test since January 2019, and our student number has been steadily increasing, comprising of self-sponsored students, corporate-sponsored students, and Yayasan Peneraju scholars. Trust me, we are all excited to welcome you to our family in the near future. And for tonight, we truly appreciate that you taking your time to join us in our Facebook Live session. Okay, without further delay, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Miss Emily, the head of program, to deliver her welcome remarks. Welcome, Miss Emily.
For joining this evening's engagement session. I'm Miss Emily, Head of MICPA program at Sunway Test CAE. Right. Tonight, I would like to share with you a few slides on MICPA programs at Sunway Test CAE. Next. Okay. Yes. Next, please. Yeah. About Sunway Test CAE. It's an integral part of Sunway College and was incorporated in 1994. Sunway Test CAE is internationally renowned professional accounting. Conduct international renowned professional accounting such as MICPA, SCCA, ICW, CFA, and CPA. To start off, we have a first cohort in term 1, 2019, and then followed by term 3, 2019. We also started the part-time study mode. Yeah. In Sunway Test CAE, we also offer face-to-face support with first-hand knowledge from experienced lecturers, both as academic and industrialists. Yeah. Students also undergo a series of guided learning process, answering techniques and providing invaluable guidance to place students into a pinnacle position in their career growth. We have top facilities for student teaching and learning, such as our well-equipped library. It hosts a mass collection of e-learning material, journals, and magazines to assist the student in their learning. Next. Okay. In Sunway Test CAE, there are two study modes that we offer. First is the full-time weekday classes, and these are mostly for scholars from Peneraju and private students. As for the part-time weekend classes, there are some scholars, as long as private students, and many are from corporate firms. Okay. For teaching and learning structure, we have the face-to-face lectures, and because of the pandemic now, all the classes are done online. Yeah. Few months ago, we also have this thing called hybrid mode, whereby lecturer can also teach in the classroom as well as online at the same time. As well as the classes, we also offer revision classes so that the candidate can also go to lectures and revision classes and provide and discuss past year examinations and technique during this session. Progress tests and mock exam are also conducted as part of the timetable, whereby student can actually go for the examination, which is similar to the actual open book examination. So the test and the mock exams are actually indicator of candidate progress in their study. Okay. On top of these test and mock exam, we also have the soft skill classes, and they are actually classes conducted to develop the students' communication skill, interpersonal skills, interviewing skills, and resume writing to prepare them for the workforce. Okay. Next slide is a list of all the top scorers, right? And we have, in fact, 3 gold medals. You can see Dr. Ong Chuang Peng gold medals, and we have 10. In fact, this is not 19 passed with merit. So these students are actually doing well. So we have really a good list of candidates that have achieved very high score, even though we started the program in term 1, 2019. Next. Okay. Next one. Okay. Just for your information, term 1, 2021, we will start the class most likely on the 3rd week of January, and both full-time and part-time classes. For financial accounting reporting, FIN, and management accounting applied finance, MAAF. During CMCO, the Sunway Test CAE office hours as follows. Weekdays is from 8:30 to 5:30, and Saturday from 8:30 to 4. Okay. So for next term, we are offering 2 modules, and hopefully 2 modules, and hopefully you can drop by, when the portal is open. We take in all the application at the office as well as email. Next slide is my final slide is, if you need any information, if you cannot make it to the campus, you can also write to us. My name is Miss Emily, and my email address and phone number is as below, same as for my colleague, Mr. Samuel. So you can contact us through this information, or you can drop by at the Sunway Test CAE office. So thank you and enjoy the evening, and back to you, Samuel.
All right. Thank you, Miss Emily, for the informative sharing. No worries, everyone. If you have any more question with regards to Sunway test, okay, later on we will have a Q&A session, and you can drop as many questions as you want with regards to Sunway test, and Miss Emily will definitely reply to every of your questions. Okay, next, I would like to invite Miss Soraya. She is the marketing executive from MICPA Malaysia, and she'll be giving you a short introduction on MICPA CAANZ program. Welcome, Miss Soraya.
Thank you so much, Samuel. Thank you so much to all Sunway Test team for organizing this session. Hi everyone. I hope you all are doing all right. It's raining here, so I hope you guys make yourself comfortable for this session. Yeah. So yeah, my name is Suraya. I'm part of the marketing team of MICPA. So today I'm going to do a very quick sharing about the MICPA program. Yeah. So MICPA, the Malaysian Institute Certified Public Accountant, we are the only local professional body here in Malaysia. We have this very unique joint program with Chartered Accountants Australia, New Zealand, CA and ZAC, conduct this program called the MICPA program. So upon completion of the MICPA program plus the 3 years work experience, MICPA graduate are entitled to get dual qualification. So in a nutshell, through one program, you will get 2 titles. Okay, so why you should choose MICPA program? First thing first, in terms of point number 1, I want to share with you, we have been around since 1958. It's more than 6 decades. We're developing professional accountancy in Malaysia and around the world. So in fact, we are the founding member of IFAC, okay, International Federation of Accountants. So basically, IFAC is a global organization for accountancy profession. Okay, their role is to support the development and implementation of the international standard. So I do receive few questions from students asking if is MICPA being a local professional body is internationally recognized. The answer is yes, we are internationally recognized. Okay, in terms of point number 2, by doing this MICPA program, you will get access to the Global Accounting Alliance, in short form GAA. Okay, so what is GAA? GAA is an international coalition, okay, made up of top 10 premier accounting institute. Okay, they are brought together to promote quality services, share information, and collaborate if there is any important international issue. So if you can see here, the 10 accounting institute are CPA Canada, CPA United States, Ireland, Chartered Accountants, CAS, IDW, ICAW, South Africa, CA, CPA Hong Kong, CPA Japan, and last but not least, Chartered Accountants, Australia, New Zealand. And if you can look closely in this slide that I'm sharing with you, this is the only accounting body that listed under GAA. So by having MICPA and CAANZ membership, you will get this GAA passport. On top of that, you'll get to network to 1 million professional accountants around the world. Okay. Now, in terms of point number 3, I mentioned through this MICPA program, you get dual qualification. I am pretty sure there's no other bodies out there or other program out there can give you 2 titles, right? So the titles are Certified Public Accountant Malaysia and Chartered Accountant Australia, New Zealand. So on on top of that, if you all wish to work in Australia and New Zealand, this is definitely something we will give you a huge advantage by having this dual qualification, especially the CAANZ will open many doors to you in Australia and New Zealand. The reason why I say this, companies and organizations in Australia and New Zealand, they are always looking for a chartered accountant from their own local professional bodies, which is in this case CAANZ. In terms of point number 4, local context and relevant. So for your information, our MICPA program module, 4 out of 5 technical module is identical to the CA program, okay, which is from the Chartered Accountants Australian New Zealand CANZ. But only one module that we design, it's based on Malaysian tax system, which is the tax module. So it's definitely going to give you a huge advantage if you want to practice here in Malaysia, comparatively if you learn about a foreign tax system. Okay, in terms of point number 5, employment opportunities, we have more than 400 approved training employers. So we have very strong support with from them. So that means that we always try our best to help our candidates and students, we link up them to these employers for internship placement or even for job placement. And in terms of point number 6, okay, this MICPA program is designed you to develop, to become a well-rounded professionals. Why? I will share with you more about this later. Okay. This is ASE, Advanced Stage Examination. It consists of 5 modules. So the exam format is based on open book examination. So this is to tell you that, to show to you that our module is to develop you to have those application skills. So our exam is based on real life business scenario. It will develop your critical thinking skill, problem solving skill, application skill. So this is other essential skill that you need when you work in future. In terms of point number 3, okay, upon completion of MICPA program, you need also to have 3 years work experience. So you will be assigned and a mentor for you to have experiential learning. So that means that we don't want you to learn the same thing. So throughout this 3 years, you will have a mentor to assign you, and you will learn a lot of things from them. And we do have, we do allow self-study, and also, if let's say you need extra support, we do have tuition classes, which is in this case Sunway test. You can contact with them. You can get more information with them how you can do the MICPA program in Sunway test. Okay, and I'm very proud to share with you, we have a very strong passing rate, stands on 70% average pass rate, and this is to tell you that the MICPA program is very doable and achievable. But of course, you need to have passion, you need to motivate, and then you need to plan your journey well. So I think with all these golden tips, definitely can help you to finish the MICPA program successfully. So just to share with you about the AIC module, it consists of 4 technical modules here. If you can see down the pyramid, it's audit assurance, financial accounting and reporting, management accounting, applied finance, and taxation. So today, you can know more about the 2 modules, which is fin and math. And how does this technical module work is 20% goes to the online assessment, except for project paper is only for text module, and 80% goes to the final exam. And the passing mark for these technical modules is 50. With the additional requirement, you need to get 40% out of 80 for the final exam. Okay, and as for the final module, which is the capstone, this is a very unique module. So you will be assigned in a group. You will give a case study to do presentation. So this is to develop your soft skill, where you will develop your people skill, presentation skill. So it's very unique module. And how does it work is 40% goes to the online assessment and 3 workshop, and 60% goes to the final exam. So passing mark for capstone is 60 out of 100. So I know some of you guys might think, 60 is quite high comparatively the technical modules, but I can assure you that I've spoken to many of our students, many of candidates and members who did this capstone. They really enjoy this module, and on top of that, capstone is the most highest passing rate comparatively to the other 4 technical modules. All right, just to share with you guys about our pathway, we have a traditional route, which is a part-time study. Very simple. After you have grad, you get employment, you can do the MICPA program while you're working. So 1 module each term, you can finish it within 2 to 3 years. Okay. And this is our new pathway, a full-time study. So after you complete your degree, you can do all the 5 technical modules before you get a job. It's normally like 2 technical modules per term. Okay, you need to finish the technical modules first, then you do the capstone. But normally, we do recommend to our student, okay, to do the 4 technical modules in full-time first, and then get a job, and then do capstone. while working. So you can finish this 1 year or so. Alright, this is to share you guys one of our MICPA initiative, which is the Student Sponsorship Program. So this is SSP. So SSP is basically there's a 15 participating employers. Okay, they will sponsor your MICPA program, give you internship placement and job offer. So basically, the pathway for SSP is you will do the 2 modules in your final year, okay, and then after you get a job offer, and you will do the remaining 3 modules while you're working. So this also can finish during approximately like 2 years or 2 years or so. So in a summary, guys, through MICPA membership, you gain access to MIA membership. Why? So of course, for you to call yourself a accountant in Malaysia, you need to register with MIA. Okay. So through MICPA program, you can get the MIA membership. And if you wish to become a tax agent, you can go to LHDN because they do recognize us. And if you wish to become company secretary or insolvency practitioner, you can go to SSM, they do recognize us. And on top of that, you will get the most highly regarded qualification in Australian Museum, which is CAANZ membership. And I think I mentioned about the GA passport earlier, it gives you a very huge advantage. And our open book examination develops your critical and analytical thinking skill to make you to become well-rounded professionals in future. And our exam structure, the capstone module that I mentioned earlier, it incorporates the soft skill as well. And we are very proud, we have a very strong passing rate, which is a 70% average. And we have SSP just now, the program, and also we have scholarship. Okay, do check out our social media to find out more about that. And yeah, guys, differentiate yourself as a future professional accountant and stand out as a MICPA and CAANZ membership. So if let's say you guys have any question, please do not hesitate, scan this QR code here in front of your Facebook. Okay, or you guys can just email to me or email to my head of department, Eileen. We are more than happy to answer all of your questions. And if you want to know more about the program, you can join us next week. We have a accountancy week MICPA program sharing for degree and diploma holders. So if you guys want to know more, check it out on our social media to register. Yeah, so last but not least, I think that's all for my sharing today. I hope you all want to know more about this program, and let us know if you have any question. I think that's all from my side. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Sam.
Okay, my apologies. Thank you for the sharing, Soraya. Moving on to our next agenda, we have 2 MICPA facilitators to share their experience in teaching this program. As you all know, we are offering FIN and MAAF module next semester, and our facilitators are here to share their experience in teaching this module, the structure of the module, effective study tips, and to address any inquiries from you. Okay, our first MICPA facilitator is Miss Aic. She'll be speaking on FIN module. A little introduction on her. Aic is a member of MICPA and a member of the Malaysian Institute of Accountants. Prior joining the teaching professions, she was working as an auditor with one of the big 4 accounting firms. Aic currently lectures for MICPA CAANZ and CPA Australia professional exams in Sunway Test. She also conducts public seminars on IFRS for MIA, MICPA, CPA Australia, and ISCA Singapore. Ms. Aic, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Samuel. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this session. Right. Now, I'm sure you're eager to know what is in the FIN paper. Right. The FIN paper is actually all about accounting. Right. And the accounting is all based on IFRS. So if you do study IFRS, this is very valuable, or it is equivalent to what we call MFRS in Malaysia. So you do not have to worry about learning anything new when you are out in the profession, right? And what does this paper consist of, right? So as what was highlighted earlier, right? This paper has two parts. You have to take 3 quizzes, right? There will be quiz 1, quiz 2, and quiz 3, what we call online assessment, and each online assessment has 10 MCQ questions, right? So each question is 1 mark. So in total, you will have, if you score maximum, you will have 30 marks, right? Out of that 30 marks, right, it will be apportioned to 20 marks for the 20% of the final exam. And in the final exam, you will have to sit for the exam and you have to complete 4 papers. 4 questions, sorry. Each question is 20 marks each, right? And there is no choice. You have to complete all the questions. So what you need to do is you need to do well both in the quizzes as well as the final exams. So this is something that will keep you going, right? So what you need to do is you must always revise, right? After each lecture, you must go back and revise and keep yourself up to date, because if you keep on revising, then this will actually build the momentum and you'll be ready for the final exams, right? So as mentioned earlier, this fin paper is open book, right? When you have an open book exam, it does not mean that it is going to be a lot easier, right? Because, right, if it is open book, what the examiner expects from you is that your answers has to be right to the point, and they will test you both on technical skills as well as the way you present your answers, right? Now, I've already talked about the structure of the paper, which is 20% quizzes and 40% and 80% exam, right, which is your final exam, right? Now, let me also give you a brief on what is in the learning materials. Now, the MICPA program, right, MICPA CAANZ program has very good learning materials, right? Now, you can't hear me very well, is it? Okay. Right. Now, the learning materials will comprise things like work example, right? Then the study guide, as well as the activities. Now you have to go through these three learning materials very thoroughly, and that will carry you through to the final exam, right? All you need to do is constantly, right, cover all these materials, right? Because the examiner will not test you anything outside this 3 learning materials that they have given you, right? Now, the other thing that you have to take note of is also setting up what we call right. The other thing is you need to set up your critical file, right? So the critical file is important in the sense that it will help you get your information, right, as and when you need it for your exam, because you cannot possibly digest the whole CSG or the whole materials that is given to you, right? What you need to do is summarize them, and this is what we call the critical file. So spend time setting up your critical file. It is just like a concise list of your required materials to assist you in your final exam, right? Okay. Now, so when you set up your critical file, you have to do it yourself, right? Go through the past year questions, go through the study guide, go through the work example, what we call work example and activities, and you summarize the important areas, because you will not have time to go through in detail your materials if you're going to look for maybe some answers you need um, for the final exams, right? So set up your critical file. And when should you set up your critical file? Not during the revision week, but as and when you finish each module, right? So for the fin paper, constant revision is important, right? You need to do a lot of practice, because the paper tests you on principles. The questions do not repeat, right? The examiners do not repeat any of the questions, right, over the years. What they do is they will test you on the principles, and the scenarios are always very different. So as long as you are familiar, or you have a good understanding of the IFRS principles, you should be able to do well in the exam, right? Okay, now a bit on the exam structure. Now, over the years, the exam paper has become more difficult, right? Previously, you were asked to maybe work out and get the correct answers. But over the years, right, what has changed is that sometimes the question will give you the answers and you spot the errors. So you have to identify the errors, right? Okay. Then after that, sometimes they will also ask you on the journals, right? So you need to know how to calculate, that means apply the principle in accounting, how to prepare the journals, how to identify the errors. So these are some of the main areas in this paper, right? So this paper, right, requires a structured approach to answer the questions. So as long as you study, and when you study in a structured manner, you should be able to get through this paper. Now, this paper is not a difficult paper if you start, right, preparing for it from the first module, right? Actually, this paper is not something that is, I find very difficult, because what they test you is, on example, principles of property, plant and equipment, principle of consolidation, principle of financial instruments, right, and also revenue accounting. Now, all these IFRSs you would have already studied in your university, right? When you were in your university taking your degree program. So this is just an extension of what you have studied so far, right? Okay. So now, do not worry about the courses at Sunway being conducted online, because, right, the online classes can also be very interactive, right? And as what Emily mentioned, there is this hybrid approach. This hybrid approach is very good in the sense that, right, you will have an option to either attend face to face, or at the same time you can also do online. So this hybrid program is something that is unique, and it is a very good way to actually conduct classes during this period, right? Whatever it is, whether it is online or whether it's face to face, be rest assured that you will get the same type of teaching from us, right? We will give you our utmost best, and we are here to help you. And if you need any help, right, with maybe additional progress tests that you need, or additional learning materials, right, you can always call on any of the MICPA lecturers, and we will always be there to help you, right? Because our purpose here is to make sure you pass. That is our goal. Okay, so I think that is all is all for me. Right, I will hand the session back to Sam.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Aisim, for the insightful sharing. Students, if you have more questions with regards to the Fin module, same, you can actually type in the chat box, and during the Q&A, our facilitators will address your question. Okay, moving on. Our second MICPA facilitator is Mr. Hseng, and he will be touching on the Maaf module. Hseng is a member of Malaysia Institute of Accountants and ACCA UK. In addition to teaching as an academician, he is also in professional practice providing business and tax advisory services to a portfolio of clients ranging from hoteliers, manufacturing companies to logistic, wholesale and retail trade and professional services such as legal firms and cosmetic surgery clinics. Other than MICPA CAANZ, he also lectures for ACCA professional exam. Hseng, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Samuel, for the introduction, and thank you all for joining our sharing session this evening. Thank you, Aisim, for giving a good overview of how the Fin module is like. I think for Maaf, it's pretty similar to Fin. I'll echo what Aisim has to say. In terms of the module, you will have your exam as 4 questions made up of 20 marks each. They are scenario based. So for each scenario, you have certain problems or issue that you have to solve. And of course, you solve these issues or problems using certain models or frameworks or formulas. So these are generally well accepted models or frameworks that you'll be using to solve. Yeah. In terms of the module, MICPA CAANZ, the good part is program structure, I'll say, is pretty good. They have these online assessments to ensure that you're progressing well with your module. So there's this online assessment 1, 2, and 3, just to keeping you in check that you are progressing with your course. And at the end of the course, you of course have your final exam for 80 marks, 4 questions where you have to get 40 out of 80. And the total marks to pass, which Soraya also pointed out just now, is 50, where you must score 40 over 80 for your final exam. Yeah. So just to give you a glimpse what this MAAF is about, it stands for Management Accounting and Applied Finance. And I'll say it's about 75% management accounting, 25% applied finance. I think most of you have some background in accounting or finance, or you're familiar with this finance industry, or at least this accounting industry. So I'll just, and these are probably you have some fundamentals about it already. So if I talk to you about certain models, you may recall them being taught in your first degree, but this being an advanced paper, professional paper, it requires you to demonstrate higher order thinking skills. For example, to synthesize your knowledge, to apply them, to compare, give solutions. So of course, a bit of a higher order thinking skills. Yeah. So about MAAF, the whole module starts off by introducing you to the role of a management accountant, which essentially is to aid management in their decision making. So you add value to an organization by aiding managers or decision makers in their daily or sometimes a strategic decision making. Now, I'll break MAAF into 4 key areas. The first one I'll just briefly call the role of a management accounting business. And this is about you being part of the strategic or goal setting process for an organization, where you help the organization assess its strengths or weaknesses, look at certain risks the organization may face, and give some insights into the risk management process of an organization. I'll give you an example. You could have a board meeting where the company organization is facing some foreign exchange translation risk of their foreign operations. And you as a management accountant sitting in the meeting is asked to give advice to the board. What should they do to sort of hedge or mitigate such foreign exchange exposure where they have invested in a foreign operations? Yeah. So that's your role. You probably, in making your recommendations, of course, you can say you probably have to get a lot of information, analyze them, draw conclusions before you present these information reports to the board. Yeah. So that's the first area, management accountant assisting decision making in an organization. The second area I'll say is on performance management. So that's the role of a management accountant, helping an organization in the budget setting process to get somewhere in terms of financial results, and to help set KPIs, key performance indicators for the organization to ensure they're on track to reach their goals. And the unique thing about this Ma'af paper, like Soraya and Aisim pointed out, they are very real life business, real life like business scenarios, where this scenario is something that's practical, it might actually happen, and you're asked to give your views or advice on how to solve a certain problem in the scenario. So I'll give you an example of an exam question where there are cases where you're given a scenario of an agriculture grower, and they have certain goals in mind, like they want to increase their crop yields, they want to reduce the environmental impact of their operations, and perhaps use more organic fertilizers, less of inorganic fertilizers. And you also set KPIs of how to ensure that the organization is on track to reach some of these stated goals. So that's again your role of a management accountant to come and think and develop KPIs that's suitable to help the organization achieve those stated goals. And that's the second part about performance management. The third part is about cost management and working capital management, cost management. And you might revisit some of the earlier tools and models you've learned, like ABC costing. So in a Ma'af paper, advanced management accounting paper, you could be given a scenario, say a cloth making company, making clothes, and they have these distinct customer groups, like they sell clothes for events, clothes for sports clubs, and also for this individual who wants to buy them, or just retail sales, and you're then asked to assess of this distinct customer group, which is more profitable than the other, and this will help the organization manage its customer portfolio. And if the thing about different customer groups is they may require different servicing. For example, if talking about event, they are one-off, and they probably need a lot of planning, to get to the end stage, the design stage. They have to plan, and there might be more time involved in selling clothes to these event customer groups. So then you're asked to assess of the different customer groups, which require different servicing levels or requirements, which is more profitable, and if you have a loss-making customer group, what do you do with it? So again, very practical scenarios of how you go about solving or tackling issues. The last part of these Ma'af papers on applied finance, the 25%, and this is if you have taken a finance paper back in your first degree, you probably are familiar with the idea of cost of capital, sources of finance. So in an advanced paper like Ma'af, what may happen is you might be given a scenario again, like a company, in this case, an outdoor clothing company in Australia, receiving a takeover offer from a largely listed New Zealand company. And the offer price is given to you. and you're asked to assess if the offer price given by the acquirer is fair to this particular company. Of course, there could be a range of valuation. When it comes to valuation, it's never precise. There could be a range they can work up, and you have a certain offer price. And then after working out the offer price, after working out what is fair value, you then ask to recommend a shareholder with perhaps a 10% block of the shares, whether they accept the offer to sell the shares or not. And of course, sometimes when it comes out, there's just no right or wrong answer. It's about your analysis. You can give a recommendation to accept and sell the shares, or to say decline the offer, and you can give your reasons why. In either case, so long as you put arguments well enough, you would be given merit. So math is quite interesting. There's sometimes no right or wrong answer. It's about how you put up your arguments. So I think I like math for that. Yeah. Unlike some other papers which are more technical, there's a certain right or wrong. It's either you get the you apply the right principles, get answer, or you get apply the wrong one and you get wrong answer. Yeah. So 4 areas of math. First, again, the role of management accounting is supporting businesses. The second one, performance measurement, say developing KPIs to help an organization achieve its goals. Third is about cost management and working capital management. For example, again, you could have a pie making company that wants to set up a proper inventory management system, and you ask to work out what is the most economical order quantity for the business. At what point should they reorder their stocks? And when they have the option to outsource the production, should they take up, should they go about outsourcing certain parts of the production? So very interesting real life like business scenarios in math. Now, in terms of study tips, which I'm asked to share with you, I will say you do have to have very good analytical. If you have good analytical skills, that will help a lot in math, because many scenarios you are required to analyze it before you attempt to solve it. Yeah, so analytical skills is important. Apart from that, if you have a good communication skills, a strong communication skill to put up your arguments, like just I mentioned, there's no right or wrong. Sometimes it's about how you argue. Then it can work to your advantage as well. Yeah. So good analytical skills, communication skills would really improve your chances. But given the open-ended nature of the question, again, sometimes there are no right or wrong answers. That's why in class, I would prefer a more discussion-based approach with my students to get some different thoughts from different angles, so that I end up with a pool of thoughts that you can use to put forward to solve a particular issue. So discussions are often encouraged in class, which is why we prefer class size to be smaller. Say 25, 30 students to facilitate discussion. And just like what I say, Sunway currently may offer online learning for our courses, but don't fret about that, because we do have a certain platform, we call it the Blackboard platform, which allow us to I think my colleague is there in your chat group, but I can't see what he wrote. Yeah. Anyway, which allow us to break the class into groups. So if I have a class of 25, I can break them into 5 smaller groups on this platform, and they go about their discussion. I bring them back into the main room for a final discussion, and I think this discussion tend to be quite fruitful. Yeah, everyone ends up learning more than if they were to do their independent studies. So we do have the right environment for you to learn the subject well. Okay, so I think that is all the sharing from me on my paper, and I'm going to pass it back to Samuel to continue with the next session.
Okay, thank you, Hseng, for the wonderful sharing. I believe students definitely benefited a lot from your sharing. Okay, students, this is our final agenda of the night, which is the long-awaited Q&A session. So right now, I think you got a chat box over there. So if you have any burning questions to ask us Either you can be Miss Emily, or you can be to ask anything regarding the MICPA program or anything regards to the Fin and Maaf module. Feel free to type in the comment section, and our facilitators will try our level best to address all your questions. We have 4 facilitators to address all the questions. They are Miss Emily, the head of program, Mr. Hseng, who's one of the facilitator, Miss Aisim, the facilitator, and we have Miss Eileen as well. She's the head of marketing for MICPA Malaysia. So a very warm welcome to all our facilitators that will be taking the Q&A session. Welcome to everyone.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Okay, we have a first question from Samson Cheong. For the 3 years practical experience, it can be gained in Malaysia and Singapore only. Can I direct this question to Eileen?
Yes, sure. Thanks, Emily. Hi, Samson. For the 3 years experience, most of our candidates do gain the experience here in Malaysia with an approved training employer, meaning that there is a mentor within that organization that's assigned to you for those 3 years. But if you want to work abroad, you can also do so anywhere. Usually we recommend to get a job in one of the major global network accounting firms, so that we roughly know the type of work that you'll be doing and that it's relevant to the profession. And what you need to do if you're working overseas is to identify someone who can be a mentor to you. They must either be a MICPA, CAANZ, or one of the GAA member bodies members to be your mentor. So in a nutshell, yes, you can work anywhere around the world as long as it's relevant accounting in a relevant accounting field and you have a mentor assigned to you. Okay, thanks for that. Hope that answers it.
Okay, you have another question from Hamra Zudi. Does this program have GPA, CGPA, or pass every subject is sufficient already? Can I direct this question to Aisim?
All right, thanks, Emily. Right. Actually, there's no GPA or CGPA for this program. All you need to have is you need to pass all the papers, right? And as mentioned earlier, right, there's 20% which comes from the online assessment and the other 80% from your final exams. So in total, you have to gain a total mark of 50 to pass, right? So on top of that, right, you can just get a general pass or pass with merit. So these are the only two, what we will call two grades for this exam. And if you do very well, then you will get like, I think, gold medal, right? That's what we have, right? I think, am I right, Emily? I think so, right?
Yes, we have. So far, we have 3 gold medal and 19 pass with merit. Yeah. Wow. So the marks, if it's pass merit, the marks always above 80. Yeah. If talking about gold medal, the last paper that we have, Fin 220, we got one student who have gotten the gold medal. Her marks is 98. Yeah. Correct. So yeah, we do have top scorer in this program.
Just to add on, the passing mark is actually 50 out of 100 for the 4 technical modules, and for capstone it's 60 out of 100. So you just need to make sure you hit the passing mark to pass each module.
Okay, thank you, Eileen.
Thanks, Eileen.
Okay, we have one more question. Hafizan Hilmi. This question is, for the Fin module, could you elaborate more on your study tips, which is to study in a structured manner? Aisim?
All right, okay.
So
now,
yeah.
All right, Hafizan.
Hafizan.
Right, hi, Hafizan. When I say maybe I need to explain a bit on structured manner. Now, if you approach a paper, the Fin paper, and you approach the question, right? When you read the question, they will say, for example, maybe you need to calculate what is the present value of the lease payables. So what you need to do is you need to know what is the first step. Then you have to present value all your future cash flows. After which, you need to know the journal entries, right? So you know for leases, if you are the lessee, you will have a right of use asset and a lease liability. So first, you calculate present value, then you draw up the journal entries, then you focus on what to do with the asset and what to do with the liability. So this is an example for leasing. So if you are doing financial instruments, first you will go through like what you mean recognition first. How do you recognize a financial asset, financial liability, or equity? So there's always this structured approach. So when I teach, I will always go through step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, because these are very important steps to help you answer the fin question. You cannot jump any steps, because if you don't do it systematically, right, you might not be able to apply, right, to any of the scenarios. Let's say if the questions changes, right, how are you going to approach the question? You need to build that foundation, and that foundation is what I will call a structured approach. You don't jump from A to Z. You will go through A, B, C until you reach Z. So this is what Sunway will offer you. We will offer you, right, a structured approach, and we will help you build your foundation. Now, on the other hand, you also have to put in your part, right? That means all you need to do is revise and revise and revise, right? So that step is very important, right? That is why you must be constantly on the go, right? It is not something that is impossible, right? You should always strive to do well, and Sunway will provide you with all the necessary support in terms of study, in terms of like what I say, the structured approach. You cannot find that in the study materials, but because MICPA lecturers, right, we have like been teaching this paper since like 2019, right, and all of us, right, have this structured approach. It doesn't matter whether it's fin or ma'af, you will always get this structured learning, right? Okay, so I hope I've
Thank you,
answered your
Aic.
question. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Aic.
Okay.
Okay, one more question. Yanzi. Her question is there any GPA requirement in degree before taking MICPA? And how long is the duration of one module? Aileen, can I pass this to you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Emily. So in order to take MICPA, we actually look at your degree. So you must have completed a degree that has been accredited by MICPA or CAANZ before starting the program. So we don't actually look at your CGPA as long as you've completed the degree and the subjects that are required. However, the only thing that you would want to be concerned about is when it comes to CGPA is the working experience, because in order to obtain your membership, you have to also not just pass the exams, you also need 3 years of relevant work experience. So depending on who you're targeting to work with, you need to make sure that your grades meet their expectations as well. So hope that answers that part of the question. And the second part, how long is the duration for each module? It's about 3 to 4 months.
Thank you, Aileen.
Welcome.
Okay, there's one more question here from Prem Gannasan. So, hi, may I know when the students are eligible to apply for MICPA sponsorship program?
Okay, I guess I'll answer this as well. Hi, Prem. So I think you're talking about the SSP, Student Sponsorship Program, the one that connects you to an employer and provides you with internship, a job offer, as well as sponsorship for the program starting in year 4 of your degree. So if you're coming from a 4-year degree program, you're allowed to apply for SSP in year 3. Usually it's in the second half of your 3rd year. So you can already start applying then, so that by the time you secure your sponsorship, you can start the program when you start year 4 of your university. There are other sponsorships available. You have heard earlier on, I think Ms. Emily mentioned about Peneraju, and there's also other programs. Like right now, we actually have our MICPA Educational Trust Fund sponsorship, which is for those who have graduated with completed their degree, you can actually apply for this sponsorship to study the program full time. So watch out for all these sponsorship opportunities, which we do publish on our social media channel. So make sure you follow us. All right, back to you, Emily.
Thank you, Eileen. Any more questions? All right. Tan Winshen, the question is, the examination is in paper-based mode or computer-based mode? Okay, Eileen, would you like to answer?
Sure. So our exams previously was paper-based, but when MCO and COVID, the pandemic hit, we had to switch very quickly over to online examinations. So it's actually now conducted online. So yes, it's computer-based now.
Thank you, Eileen. All right, there's a question here. I'm a degree student. Is it possible for me to register for term 1 2021 before obtaining my full transcript? I think Eileen earlier mentioned that you need to have a full transcript before you can enroll and register, correct?
Yeah, as long as you have completed your examinations, your final semester results are out, then if you can share that with us, it's fine. So I think that's called your full transcript. So,
Yeah.
So we do need to know your results.
Thank you, Eileen.
Welcome.
All right, we have one question from Fahana Zulkifli. As for the study material, apart from the resources from portal, is there any specific textbook that will be useful? Maybe I direct this question to Hseng.
Okay, thanks, Emily, for the question. MICPA CAANZ actually has their resources. You would get a candidate study guide. We call it CSG. You also get FOMA, an activity book, and a work example book. Yeah. So the resources are a lot when you add in the past year papers as well. But if you want to spend time going through them, they can take a long time. So for me in class is more on choosing the right activity to do in class that's most productive to prepare you for exams. Yeah. So yes, resources are there, and a lot. But for the exams, I'll say because of the scenario that you have to tackle, and no one scenario is the same, you need to go through more scenarios to hone your skills of how to solve it. And like probably what Hseng say, you need to practice a lot and do a lot. Yeah. So yep, there are plenty of resources, but you need to take the time to go through them.
Thank you, Hseng. Okay, there's a question from Kama. May I know how is the class will be conducted, lecture, tutorial, and workshop? Okay, for the moment, I think I can answer this so-called question. Because of the pandemic, all the classes are conducted online. Previously, we did it physically, but on top of that, we also have this mode called hybrid. So if the Sunway educational group allow, or if the SOP is lifted, we have the option for students to come and take up this hybrid mode, meaning the student can either study physically in class, or they can take online classes at the same time. It will be the same thing. It's just that one is online and the other one is physical, that concurrently, whereby the lecturer will conduct the classes physically at the same time. Yeah. Did I answer your question, Raman? Okay, we have a question from Hamra Judi. If a degree is 3-year degree, are we eligible for the sponsorship that you just mentioned? Aileen, would you like to answer?
Yeah, sure. So the program that I mentioned, SST, which is for 4-year degrees, so that's specific for, it's not eligible. You wouldn't be eligible if you're doing a 3-year degree, but you would be able to apply for all the other sponsorships that are open to those who have completed their degree. So as long as you've done a degree that we've recognized and accredited, you'll be able to apply for any of our other sponsorship programs that are available.
Okay, thank you, Eileen.
Welcome.
Okay, the next question is, what is the estimate total cost for me to complete this program? For Sunway, yeah, we have full-time and part-time classes. So if you're talking about full-time, the fees are normally inclusive of the general fee and the tuition fee, as well as the MICPA fee. So total up is about 24,000 for full-time. For part-time is about 22,000 total. Yeah, this inclusive the general fee, tuition fee, and MICPA fee. Okay. Any more questions?
Okay, so if there is no any question, we will end the session. So thank you, Hseng, thank you, Eileen and Emily, for answering to all the Q&A question, and to all of you who are still live and online with us. Really hope. Thank you for staying with us to the end. I really hope that all of you have benefited greatly from this session. Just for your information, we will definitely have another session again in December. All right. Also, this kind of sharing session, we will definitely we'll blast the information to all of you later on. All right. So I think from right now you can able to see in your screen. Okay, to find out more about the MICPA CAANZ program. Okay, feel free to drop Miss Emily or me an email, and we will reply to you via email. All right. So again, huge thank you to everyone, and we hope to see you in Sunway College soon. Okay, that's all from us. I wish you all good night and sleep well, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you for
Bye.
joining
Take
us.
care,
Bye.
everyone.